All right, guys, welcome back to another video. We're going to talk about TGS, all the announcements from Xbox today, the PS5 Pro bundles, 30th anniversary, all that stuff. Released yesterday, and the scalping is insane. Ubisoft, there's some calls for them to sell, so what could that mean for the future of them? Plus some other things. But before we continue, if you do enjoy daily gaming news and content, make sure to hit that sub, share the video, like the video if you enjoyed it, and check out my Spotify. Link is in the description. So early yesterday morning, Xbox had their TGS showcase, their announcements of everything that they were going to be bringing out to Xbox, as well as lots of games coming to Game Pass. It's a pretty good show here, and there's stuff you can go ahead and check out right now on the Xbox console and on the Game Pass service. So the big one here, I think for a lot of people, is going to be Final Fantasy Pixel Remastered is out now on Xbox Series and Windows. And what is pretty cool about this one is it does have the full cross-buy and cross save and everything. So if you pick it up on your Xbox, I believe you're going to be able to go ahead and play it on your PC and download it there. You have Jez putting this tweet out saying, Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster Collection is fully Xbox Play Anywhere with cross buy and cross save, even though it doesn't seem to be tagged as such. Loaded up my Xbox save on my PC just now. Exactly what my Lenovo Legion Go needed. So cross buy, cross save if you do go ahead and purchase that. It's a really cool collection with the first 6 Final Fantasy games, 1, 2, 6 on there, which is a really nice treat if you've never played them and you want to see where this series and franchise started from. Then we have some cool Game Pass announcements here. Legends of Mana is coming to Game Pass. Trials of Mana is coming. We Love Katamari Reroll plus Royal Reverie coming to Game Pass. And then All You Need Is Help is also available on Game Pass. All today, or yesterday, I should say. If you have Game Pass right now, you're going to be able to go ahead and download all those games. And now the next announcement is very, very cool, and I hope this is signaling that we, at some point in the future, may get a new entry into this series, but that is StarCraft Remastered and StarCraft 2 on PC Game Pass coming November 5th. So that's awesome if you're a fan of that series. Now, the next stuff we have here are just announcements of games coming over to Game Pass. So you have Immortals Pillars expansion coming to Age of Mythology Retold, which is an awesome game. I've been playing through the campaigns on that. It's a lot of fun. You have Camp Pets coming to Fallout 76 in December if you wanted to get some pets in the game. They're coming. Indiana Jones in the Great Circle. They showed it off. It says fully localized in Japanese. Overwatch 2 is getting a My Hero Academia collaboration, which I'm sure will be big for people who love that anime. Fragpunk beta on October 10th. Sensuality Echo of Ada out on January 24th. Tanuki Pawn Summer was announced, and Threads of Time was announced. So obviously, if you want to see all of the gameplay and everything for all of these games, definitely go check out the showcase itself. But I think it's a good showcase. I think that's some great stuff coming over to Game Pass right now that you can jump in and play. I mean, the Legends of Mana and Trials of Mana, cool games. If you've never played those, I'd recommend go checking those out. And the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster, which was definitely something that was missing from Xbox, so they needed when it first launched, is now available. Now, the question everyone, I'm sure, is asking right now is, well, where was Final Fantasy 16? Where was Final Fantasy 7 Remake? And as the reports were saying, these games are coming to Xbox. We just don't know when, and it could be further on down the slate. We've had Jez here having to respond on X yesterday. He was getting it from a lot of PlayStation fanboys who were saying that he was wrong. But this is what one tweet says here. It says, Jez, I like you, man, but you need to look at better sources. And he says, cry about it, little bro. If you actually read my shit properly instead of cherry picking, you know I had said Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster was the highest chance today. Final Fantasy 16 later, and Final Fantasy 7 even later. That's what's in print. Final Fantasy 16 is coming to Xbox. And that is true. Everything that we've heard about these games was that they were coming. We didn't know if it was going to be at TGS or not, but they are coming to Xbox. Final Fantasy 16, I'm sure, is going to be coming over sooner rather than later. Because, I mean, we know the exclusivity is up. They've already mentioned about wanting to get the game in more places. I'm still a little skeptical on Final Fantasy 7. I don't think that's going to be coming anytime soon. I still have that thought that if it does come to Xbox, it's going to be once the whole trilogy is released and they just give you one big package rather than currently releasing it the way that it is. So if you were looking forward to probably a Final Fantasy 16 announcement at TGS, that did not happen. We'll wonder if that is going to be coming before the end of the year, or maybe it's something that they talk about in the early showcase that Xbox generally has at the beginning of every year. So maybe at 2025 is when we will end up seeing that. But pretty cool stuff there. And I mean, this is the Game Pass picture that they did put out of the games that you can go ahead and jump into. I mean, the value is crazy when they add games like this all at once, and some good ones in there on top of that. Now, when it comes to Phil Spencer and talking about Xbox and everything, and how Xbox is doing, he has been pretty consistent that Xbox, in terms of the player base, has been successful. I mean, they're getting more players than ever, and that's up to you if you want to believe Phil Spencer, because of course there's certain things that he says that does not come true. But at the end of the day, Xbox has to be in a healthy position for it to continue to grow, to get games into Game Pass, and to just be a successful ecosystem. And he says this, which would be reassuring if you're wondering if that is the case. It says that this year, more people are playing with Xbox across all devices in Asia than ever before. We've seen the largest number of Xbox console players in the region to date. So two things there. More than ever, people are playing Xbox because it's more available than ever before on all the different devices. I'm guessing cloud streaming on a mobile device is something that is pretty big there. I wonder if the Fire Stick is going to take off in Japan and people are going to be playing that way. I wonder if through the browser on PC is another way that people are playing it. But he does say Xbox console players in the region are the largest they've seen to date. And we will see what it ends up at the end of this generation, how many people are actually playing on the consoles in Asia. But yeah, that is some good news for that region, and obviously a region that they have a lot of work to do in, because it's always going to be impossible pretty much for them to compete with PlayStation and Nintendo in Japan and in the Asian regions. Even the Xbox 360, which was a very successful generation for Xbox, they still only sold like 1.6 or 1.3 something. Forget what it was, but it was just over 1 million units of the Xbox 360. So we can't be expecting like a 10 million units of Xboxes being sold. But unless they do something crazy that just takes off, maybe a handheld will do a lot better. And that could be the next generation, where the handheld is far more appealing for players in that region. And if they get a bunch of great games like on Game Pass that we have been seeing here, a bunch of games that appeal to the gamers in that region, maybe it will take off better than the at-home console. But Phil Spencer is saying that more people are playing on Xbox in the Asian regions more than ever than they have before. So that is a good sign for Xbox over there. Okay, yesterday we also got the PS5 Pro releases, so everyone who wanted to pre-order that could go out there and pick up their pre-orders for this console. Sold out immediately. I mean, I'm not surprised. This was my prediction that the PS5 Pro is going to drop, and initially sales are going to be very good. Everyone's going to jump onto it. All the enthusiasts are going to want to pick one up, and then we'll see what happens from there. I have a feeling the sales are going to drop off a bit after it is out and readily available, especially mainly because of the price tag. And once comparisons come out, and I think you're going to see your PS5 base is still more than adequate for games that are coming out, you probably will see sales slow down a little bit. But the big thing here as well was the 30th anniversary edition. That this is just artificial. PlayStation made this very scarce on purpose because PlayStation made very low units for the PS5 Pro 30th anniversary just to drive that demand. And it's kind of annoying because a lot of people probably would have rather picked that up on launch day than just the base PS5 Pro with just the white panels. But they specifically only released 12,300 units of the PS5 Pro 30th anniversary bundle. And what this has done is just insane prices that are going up on eBay here for people who weren't able to secure one. If you do want to pick one up, you're going to be spending like £6,000 here. I'm seeing it around 6,000 USD. Some people had it up for 10,000 USD or $10,000 just for a chance to secure a PlayStation 5 Pro bundle, which is not surprising, but that is what's going on right now. Everything is sold out. If you're trying to get one of these, you're not going to be able to unless they randomly release more of them at a later date. I think the only thing that is actually still available, and it may be gone right now by the time you watch this video, is just the DualSense controller. I feel like those will be actually continuous in production and release for people to pick them up. But even like the Portal and the DualSense Edge 30th anniversary, all those went pretty fast here on the sales overall. So if you really want it, you're gonna have to go to eBay and spend thousands and thousands of dollars just for essentially a paint job. And it looks cool, don't get me wrong, but it's essentially just a paint job. It'd be great if they just released the panels where you could just take them off your current PS5 and put the 30th anniversary ones on, and then boom, you have the PlayStation 5 30th anniversary edition. All right, let's talk Ubisoft, because as we know, Ubisoft is going through it right now. They're on the down turn, and we see this happening every once in a while, every few generations or so, where you have these major companies that have been doing very, very well, and then it just continues down a downward spiral. This happened with EA. EA turned it around. Now it's Ubisoft here. They are going to have to turn it around, or it could get far worse for them. We saw everything that happened yesterday with Assassin's Creed Shadows being delayed, them saying that Star Wars Outlaws did not sell as well as they wanted it to. And now this is having a major effect on their actual stock, as it has reached the lowest point in nearly 11 years, sitting right now going as low as €9.19, which is the lowest point, and it opened the market today at €11.40. So I think it'll continue on this downturn for a little bit before it does start to go back up, depending on how well a game like Assassin's Creed Shadows does when it does release. They're probably out here preparing for their next financial report, getting the investors ready that it's not going to be that successful. So that is where Ubisoft is right now, and everything here is resting on AC Shadows. Are they going to be able to bounce back from the just huge negativity storm against this game? A lot of it has to do with the Japanese culture and people saying that they've disrespected the Japanese culture. I mean, when you actually look at the gameplay itself and the videos that they have shown off, I think the game looks good. I think the game looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. And I still believe that it is going to sell very well when it does come out, because Assassin's Creed is one of those games that sells well pretty much every single time that they do release it. I'm going to be playing it when it does come out. So we'll see. But everything is resting on that. And with the delay of it, you have to ask yourself, is it really because of technical issues, or is it because they're going in there and they're changing some things here so that they can reduce some of the negativity towards the game when it does release? We won't know, but February will be interesting when the game does launch. Now, Ubisoft, with its share price falling so low, it is potentially open for sale. I mean, this is a time, if you're a bigger company, you want to buy it, it is at its lowest points, you can go out there and get it at a discount, at a better price. Now, I don't think Ubisoft is going to sell off, but it looks like some of their shareholders, or 10% of their shareholders, would support the sale of the company. This started, I think it was about a week ago or so, where there was a small investment group, a 1% investment group, who was calling for the sale of Ubisoft. And now there's a report here that it has support of 10% of the shareholders who are looking to make a major change at the top of the organization, including a sale. And the reasoning they're calling for the sales, because they say this: management is focused on pleasing investors with beating quarterly results and not focusing on long-term strategy to provide exceptional experiences for gamers. Our company has extensive knowledge about the gaming industry when we were long-term shareholders in Activision Blizzard, and we started our Ubisoft position a couple weeks ago and are still adding to it. And you have to look at what they announced yesterday in the memo, where they're changing the way that they are going to be doing business, getting rid of the season passes and stuff, and giving the first expansion to Assassin's Creed Shadows for free. And to me, those are good things. I'm happy that they are making these changes. And could this signal going forward that we are going to see a less microtransaction battle pass, season pass style of releases from Ubisoft, and more complete experiences right when they launch? That is the hopes for it. Now, we'll see what happens again with AC Shadows. A lot is resting on that game, and we'll see if launching a game like Star Wars Outlaws into Steam is going to make a big difference in the sales on that one. I mean, I played Star Wars Outlaws. I thought it was a good game. It was really fun, and they did a really good job of building the Star Wars world, but it just did not hit the points enough, I think, to have a huge launch and a huge sale that they were expecting. And especially when you're paying for the IP like Star Wars, you have to sell a lot of copies for it to be something that has a good return on the investment. Now, a game that did sell insanely well, and I think for a couple of reasons. One of the biggest reasons, I believe, it is because it's so big in China and they have that whole market to sell this game to. And a lot of people were jumping in to play it right away. Black Myth Wukong, so 20 million units in the first month across the PlayStation 5 and PC. So just an absolute success for this game. It says, interestingly, according to CMID, just over 2.4 million of these concurrent players were on PC, meaning that around 600,000 players were on PlayStation 5. That means that according to these numbers, at least for the concurrent number, at least 80% of Black Myth Wukong players were playing on PC. Not surprising. I know PlayStation fanboys and console warriors were saying that it was huge on PlayStation and everything, but whenever a game releases simultaneously on just one console and on PC, the PC generally does better. There's more people there that want to play it. There's more people there that have a PC rather than the console, and it usually just does very well. The same thing happened, I believe, with Helldivers as well, with Helldivers 2, where PC was just a bigger base. So not surprising there, but Black Myth Wukong, we're going to see a lot more from this game, with 20 million units sold in its first month. Just absolutely massive success here for this game. And finally, this is a pretty interesting one. California, they are forcing digital stores to admit to players that they don't actually own the digital content, that they are only out there purchasing a key to the license for the digital content. And it says that, as reported by The Verge, California Governor Gavin Newsom has signed a new bill that will forbid digital storefronts from using terms like buy unless customers are explicitly warned that they are paying for a license to a game which may expire at any time. And this is the breakdown of it. It says, as retailers continue to pivot away from selling physical media, the need for consumer protections on the purchase of digital media has become increasingly more important. It says, I thank Governor for signing AB 2426, ensuring that false and deceptive advertising from sellers of digital media incorrectly telling consumers they own their purchases becomes a thing of the past. And that is the way of video games going forward into the future, because as a market, most people have spoken that they would rather go digital. I'm still pretty mixed. I love my physical games. I would stay physical if it was here for the future to stay, but I just don't think it is. I think we're going to be seeing the end of physical video games very soon. But this is where we're at now. We're not actually buying games anymore. We're buying licenses that could be taken away at any time. And people argue that even with physical, that is the case. But the reality of the situation is there's actually a lot of games. You can look it up on Does It Play. They do a very good job of cataloging it. But there are a lot of physical games out there that actually have the content on the disc itself. So I hope it doesn't go away, but I'm doubtful. I think we're going all digital sooner rather than later. But I'll end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.